Curly Hair Q&A, Mondays with Melanie show. I am your host, Ken Nickels, and I'm here with Melanie Nickels. She is the founder of the Raw Hair Organic Salon in beautiful Naples, Florida. It's one of the top curly hair salons in the country, and Melanie is one of the top curl experts anywhere in the world. She is also the founder of the Raw Curls brand of natural and organic curly hair products. So today is a big show. Today is the hair color show. So we're going to talk a lot about curly hair and hair color and the dreaded gray hairs or silver hair if you're embracing it. And
are we gonna color each other's hair?
We're not going to color it. I could use
I need color.
I could use maybe just
we
a little touch up.
We should have done that. We should have colored each other's hair. That would have been a nice touch.
It'd be a long show, but maybe in a future show we'll do that. So for those of you who don't know, Melanie, not only being an accomplished curl specialist, is also one of the top hair colorists in the country. Melanie is a American board certified master hair colorist. She is a former educator for the organization, and she is a former exam evaluator and judge for the ABCH as well. One of only 19 ever in the country to get that certification. From what I've seen, only 19. So she trained under a U.S.National hairdressing champion and British National hairdressing champion, Malcolm Brown. And she has also studied under people such as, Minardi, Roy Peters, Mazzella Ponte, Candy Shaw. You want to list off some more that you've studied hair color under? Can you think of?
No, because we'll just be here for too long.
We'll be here forever. Yeah. A lot of them. A lot of the big names Melanie is trained under, and so she's very accomplished hair colorist. So a lot of people ask us hair coloring questions, whether on the show or privately or in our groups, in our Facebook groups. And I decided, it's probably about time to do a show dedicated to hair color.
Cool.
And we could go even a little farther than just curly hair. So that's what we're going to do today. And I've got a whole list of them. I went and I looked at some of the old questions, things that we hadn't addressed, and just kind of compiled a list of the most common questions, and then a couple of a little more technical questions that I think you guys will really enjoy. A lot of stuff you're not hearing anywhere else. I mean, so it is really cool that you're able to actually, for half an hour, you get one of the top curl experts and one of the top hair colorists in the country, answering your questions, directly. So it's pretty cool. All right. Well, let's.
Should I put on my smart glasses?
You could. Do you want to? Well, you don't have to read anything.
Okay.
Right. So you don't have to. Anyway, all right. Well, let's get started, and we'll go from there. And maybe, depending on how long this goes and how long the questions take, maybe we'll take some live off of Facebook or off Instagram. We'll see. I'm not sure, but let's get started. So, let's start with something real basic, just to kind of get everybody on the same page, and then we'll work from there. So Melanie, can you describe the different types of hair color, such as permanent, semi-permanent, and demi-permanent? Can you give us just some basic outline of what those are, and then it'll help us move on?
Right. Well, and there's even more than that. So the actual least permanent color is temporary color. So that is just like a spray on or a rinse or something that you just put in the hair temporarily until you wash it out. So it only lasts until your next shampoo.
Why would you want to do that?
Well, back in the day there was the ladies that had their hair set for the week, and they just wanted to keep their color fresh. Or I had a client, I remember, and that was called the Flawless Fawn or something like that. That was the color that everybody used, but it was just a rinse by Rue, and it actually helped to blend their grays. But I don't know. I don't really know why they did it. They didn't wash their hair that much, I guess. So it lasted for a good week, and it just blended the grays, so they wouldn't have to actually get another color in between colors or in place of color. But those are the temporary colors. Now they even have like chalks and different things that you can put in the hair to color it, but just temporarily, and then it washes out. Then the next step up is the semi-permanent colors, and those are going to be like your fashion colors that you see now today. Those again are not permanent colors, but they're more of like a stain and again more of a temporary color. They do not use a developer. It's just like a direct dye. So that's the big thing. When you have a semi-permanent color, it is definitely just like a pre-mixed, color that you or something that you put in the hair without mixing any developer with it. And so again, that's more of a temporary basis. It's going to gradually wash from the hair. Those tend to last a little bit longer. So they usually will say last like 10 shampoos or something like that. Now we even have colored shampoos that are toners and things that can stain the hair. And again, they gradually wash out from the hair. Then you get into the demi-permanent colors, and those are more of a they're an oxidative dye, so you're mixing it with a developer, but they're usually non-ammonia. They're deposit only. That's another term that you'll hear, deposit only color. So that means you can't lift, you can't get any lightness for the most part. You're basically going to get the same level of darkness of your hair or darker. So you're just depositing color, and that's what I do a lot on you and the men that I use.
I don't get hair color. I don't know who she's looking at.
Yeah, to cover those grays.
That's not me.
Yeah. Those natural highlights.
Natural highlights, I prefer to call them.
Yeah. You think they're blonde, but they're not.
They are.
So that's what we typically do. And I call it like a gray blending, because you don't get 100% gray coverage. You can get a blend of the grays. And then again, that it doesn't have as much of a hard demarcation line. It will wash out gradually through the hair, but you can get more of a gray blending. There's, certain percentages depending on the colors that you're using, the different lines, the time that you leave it on. And those are going to be gentle on the hair. And then you get into the permanent hair colors, and those are permanent hair color. They're oxidative dyes. They're mixed with a developer. There's different levels of developer, so you can get different levels of lift. Now they even start at what we call a 5 volume, and then it goes to 10, 20, 30, and 40 is typically the highest level of developer, meaning you're going to get the most lift out of that hair color. Now, those will last. They stay in the hair. They're going to, usually they oxidize over time, and they may fade, a little bit lighter, usually maybe a level lighter over 4 to 6 weeks. But a lot of the colors that I use now really have a great lasting power, so we don't see quite as much fadage in between hair colors. But
really,
yeah, those you'll see are the colors that claim to get, they all say 100% gray coverage, which is kind of debatable, but you get gray coverage, and you'll get a line of demarcation when the hair grows out. So it stays in the hair. The hair color doesn't come out of the hair. You'll just see the new growth coming in. And that's a kind of a thing that people get a lot confused about a lot. They'll say the hair color didn't last on my hair, and it's not true. It's just that your hair is growing in, and you start to see those gray hairs coming in. Even after a week, you can start to see growth.
Sure.
So,
I'm someone who I could legitimately, probably every 2 weeks, I could probably get a haircut, a cleanup, right? I mean, my hair grows fast, really fast. So my natural
it just
highlights.
grew since yesterday. I cut your hair yesterday, and I came in and I said, "You have long pieces that I need
Literally.
to cut." So I brought out my scissors and chopped them.
That's absolutely what happened before the show started. And
Rhett said we have 1 minute.
We have 1 minute. That's literally, I mean, my hair grows that fast. So my natural highlights will show up much, much faster. And I'm not thrilled about them at all. So I'm always pointing
Your grays.
Whatever. Anyway, well, that's a good baseline. So that gives us a good baseline here, and let's move on to some more fun question.
Okay.
So let's go to this. How and where does henna fit into those 3 categories? And how do you do it? And what are the pros and cons of it? Is henna No, let's just leave it at that. Let's go with that, and then I'll ask you the next one because I've got a back-to-back henna question. So how does it fit in there? How does henna fit in there? Tell us about it.
Well,
A lot of talk about it online, a lot. Natural, safer. What's the deal?
yeah, henna is an interesting hair color. It is a stain. It is more of a direct dye, but it stays in the hair. So it kind of crosses over because it is more of a permanent color. So, but it is just a stain. And it really stains the hair. It stays in the hair. And the thing about henna is it's usually got a metallic base, which in the hair coloring world, we know that you cannot mix with the traditional hair colors. You can have a chemical reaction that happens, which the hair could smoke, it could melt, it can,
Really?
yeah.
Have you actually seen that before?
I have.
Oh my God.
I have. So, you have to be careful with that, especially, so once you've used henna, you're kind of stuck with it until it grows out. And, of course, in the salon, I tend to break rules, don't tell anybody. But yes, I have been able to
Run with scissors?
Yes, I do run with scissors all the time. And I have been able to color over, me personally, don't do this, but with the color that I use, because it's non-ammonia and doesn't have the same chemicals in, I have been able to safely color over henna. But we always test it first. We do a test strand. We, take the hair, cut a hunk of the hair out. We color it. We let it develop. We watch it to see if there's any problem or reaction. So that is a must.
Yeah.
But
on that note, I'll give you a little fun fact. So we haven't done a fun fact this
Well-
week yet. I've got one that I'll throw in here.
but I didn't finish.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So is the henna healthy? Yes, it is, because it is plant-based. It is, I would say, your most natural hair color that you are going to get. But so those are the benefits of it. It will leave your hair really conditioned, soft, shiny. That's why people like it. But it also tends to have an orange undertone. So many, many, many times, people that use henna, I can spot them out 100 feet away, because it always has that really coppery, I shouldn't say always, almost always has a coppery red undertone. And there are different, of course, brands of henna, some that are better than others, but so those are some of the pros and cons.
Okay. Well, I'll give you the fun fact. Melanie was actually the first industry professional to take non-ammonia, non-toxic hair colors to the American Board of Certified Hair Colorists organization. And she was at the forefront of that and paid the price for it. But that was a long time ago. She's an OG. She's old school, but she was actually the first one to take it to that. Was not well received at all. And what's interesting now is every major hair color manufacturer in the world has some type of non-ammonia or non-toxic hair color line. And so
that was something that I said,
Absolutely.
it wasn't a fad, people were talking that way. I said, this is a paradigm shift. This is the way hair color is going to go.
Yep.
Just like, perms used to be done under this machine that looked like an electrocution chair, with all these wires and plugging into the rods. And, obviously we don't perm hair that way anymore. It's much easier with a solution and what's, so forth. But, and I had talked about that. What year was that?
It's got to be 10 years. It has to be a solid 10 years.
Yeah.
There's a whole long story about it. We could save it for our Halloween horror special show.
Ooh, yeah.
We could save it for that. But
it was interesting.
Melanie was I'll tell you this much. Like I said, Melanie was absolutely at the forefront of this. And I truly believe that when I walk into stores now and I see major hair color brands that have in the last several years come out with those, I really believe a lot of it had to do with the push that Melanie made for it and the absolute unbelievable amount of heat that she took for taking that taking that stand.
I stood my ground.
Stood her ground and
up against the PhDs, the doctors,
absolutely.
all the,
Yep.
colleagues of mine that challenged,
Absolutely.
the information and, just didn't believe in it. A lot of people just said it's BS, it's marketing,
Come around on the holiday show, and I'm going to tell the majority of that story as I remember it, and it is um, I'll tell you this much. What's funny about how that all played out? Have you guys ever heard that about about the study about Pavlov's dogs, where he would ring a bell and he taught dogs how to, when they heard the bell ring, they would salivate before they saw the food. And he made that connection, right? You know what's funny? I don't think I've ever told you this. What's funny is when I see certain individuals that were part of that at hair shows now, the Cool Mo D song, How Do You Like Me Now, comes into my head every time.
I don't know that song.
You guys who do know that song will get it, but it's literally that's what goes in my head now is, history proved us right. It just did. So anyway, but we'll talk. I'll give you the whole story on that. And boy, it's a fun one. All right. Okay. Let's go a little bit farther in henna and then we're going to go off on that. So is henna the safest hair color alternative for curly hair?
Well, we kind of touched on that in the last question.
Yeah, I know, but they're asking specifically about curly hair, I guess.
There's ways, the color that we use is very safe for colored hair. And so I would say, there are other options that are just as safe because there are, deposit only, non-ammonia, organic hair colors that are much easier to work with and much nicer, I feel, than henna. So I am not a huge supporter of using henna myself. I'm not against other people using it, but you just need to know, the ins and outs of it and, like I say, the pros and cons.
So do you not do henna hair color applications in your salon?
Never.
None of your stylists, nobody does it?
No.
Okay, never. Okay. All right, next question.
And it's quite a lengthy process. I had a client who years ago, there was a stylist in town who started doing henna hair color in an actual salon.
In Naples?
In Naples. And so one of my clients, was very natural and organic and she wanted to go and try that. So she did. And she stayed with her, I think, for a couple of years, but she's back with me now. And she's so happy. And of course, she came in with the orange hair that I had to correct. So I spent a lot of time. She spent a lot of money with, me fixing it and getting it back to a pretty blonde color. But also, it's such a process. It's messy and it's long. She would be there for like 5 hours. I mean, I can't imagine.
That's a lot.
I can't imagine. Yeah, it's so there's
so 5 hours in a chair. It can't be cheap.
Well, I don't think she probably charged enough to be able to cover that time. So it's a lengthy process that's involved in doing henna color. You have to let it sit on for a long time.
Right. Can you tell us some of the hair color brands that you personally wouldn't use on curly hair in your salon?
Well, again, I would choose to stay away from the ones that are full of ammonia. So, and that's just my choice. And ammonia is I understand it is a natural source, but so is poison ivy. So even things that are natural can be toxic or poisonous. So I just find that it's more the colors like, I hate to name brands because I don't really want to bash brands, but.
Well, you could. I mean, it's your opinion, and it's not like you're selling any hair color brand. You don't manufacture any hair color.
Yeah.
So you're neutral from that standpoint.
Yeah. Well, and these are all colors that I've worked with in the past in my career. So I do have experience, using like Wella and Redken and Schwarzkopf and but now, like we were just saying, all these companies have their version of a gentler, healthier, non-toxic or non-ammonia hair color. So they, within their brand, have other options. But definitely like the Framisi and let's see, and Wella they're really high with the ammonia levels, and pigment. So those are the dyes that are used in the hair color. And so they have a higher level of toxicity or sensitivity. Um, so those are definitely, ones that I can name off the top of my head that I stay away from because they're more aggressive in the hair.
Okay. Okay. Do things like porosity and texture play a part in the hair coloring process as far as how long a color lasts or how long it takes to process or as to how much damage it might cause to your curls?
Yes. Definitely those are things that we take into consideration when coloring the hair because the higher the level of porosity means the more damage in the hair, which affects the hair color. Because, a lot of the colors out there, especially you got to be careful of that when highlighting and things because that means that hair can break when it's already compromised. So porosity, yes, it affects how much the color grabs in the hair, how long the color stays in the hair. So therefore, all of that texture, density, we're talking about like how thick or coarse or the gray hair, affects color, how it takes, how it holds. All of these things are factors that have to be considered when coloring the hair.
Okay. Here's an interesting question. Boy, this one will be fun. What age do you think is the youngest age that you would feel comfortable coloring the hair of a client of in your salon?
Yeah, that is interesting because
Where do you start? When is okay? When
yeah,
is it not
I
okay?
see people, coloring kids' hair all the time, and I just kind of cringe because, especially nowadays, these young girls, they're so into the fashion colors, like we talked about, which means pre-lightening, which means bleaching the hair out first before putting those colors over. When you do that, when you're lightening and bleaching the hair, you are changing that hair structure, that texture, that integrity of the hair. You're breaking it down. And it's never the same. You can recondition it, but depending on how light you take it, is more damaging. So, and some of those colors, I see these girls with really fried hair because you have to bleach it out to such a blonde state in order to get those colors. And and you see that mostly in the young girls, or they want the gray hair and things like that. So, I just don't know that they understand, are fully educated on what that means, the damage that they're doing to their hair. That, especially because a lot of them have long hair, that means it's never going to, typically have the same condition to it for a long time. You're going to be trying to recondition it, ultimately end up cutting it off. But, I see some clients bring little kids in, I've seen 10 years old. I think I haven't done any like under 10, I don't believe, maybe 8. To put a couple little highlights in there with just like a color. You can do that because they have virgin hair. There's no previous color on it. So you can get some lift and some, or a fun red or something like
Is
that.
virgin hair that's never been colored easier to color than hair that's been colored for several years?
Yes, because
Okay.
color doesn't lift color. So once you have color on
Okay.
your hair, you have to bleach it out. You have to strip that color in order to change colors.
So that is an old wives' tale that color lifts color. Does not, correct?
It does not.
Does not.
It does not. So once you have color, and that's what some people get confused about too. And again, a lot of the younger girls, they think you can just put color on your hair, dark, and then put light, and just change. Because I don't know, they see the stars doing this, and a lot of times it's extensions or wigs or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely more complicated once you have that hair color on the hair. It's more difficult to make changes. So, but yeah, I don't really love when people start coloring kids' hair at a really young age. I don't think that's really a great idea. It's
Okay.
just, yeah.
Okay. If I decide to color my curls, should I look for a salon or stylist that knows how to and has been trained to work with curly hair? Or doesn't it matter so much as it does when finding a salon to cut curly hair?
Well, I definitely feel that the cutting is more unique to curly hair than coloring. So if you had to choose between the two, I think you're safer having your hair colored by a really good colorist who understands hair color and hair texture. And compared to cutting, you definitely need someone who has the curly specialty training. So, but I know amazing colorists that, would definitely know how to color curly hair, and they're not trained in curly hair.
Yeah, there's an interesting part to this question that came in that I did not read the last part of it. Was this woman said that her stylist is a curl specialist that cuts curly hair, but he flat out told her, I'm not a colorist. I don't color. That's not what I do. I specialize in cutting curly hair. So that's why she was really asking, so what do I do now? I want color. He doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, just find someone who's good at hair color.
Okay.
And we met a bunch of those people in a different curly hair group.
Ron might be like that.
Ron, and there was a couple
I
of them.
forgot about that.
Yeah,
That's right.
And CHA, there was a bunch of them that don't color hair; they just cut.
Yeah.
And I don't really know why. I guess there's a lot of times people that just specialize in either cutting or coloring.
Yeah, know thyself, right? Know what you're good at and do it.
Yeah. So I've always loved hair coloring. It's come easy for me. I've understood it. I started doing color corrections early in my career, and it just I'm able to understand hair color and the chemistry of it. So that was something that I've always really loved. But there's different techniques out there for painting highlights on curly hair and different, more techniques. But is it absolutely necessary? No.
Okay, that goes into our next question. What is the difference between balayage and pintura? Isn't that funny? We don't pre-screen these questions, just so you know. So it's just funny how that answer ended and then went into this.
Yeah.
We don't.
I have that kind of weird intuition.
Right.
Julie,
so what's the difference between balayage and pintura?
There is no difference. It's just a different name. So pintura is a form of balayage.
It is.
Yep.
So what is it? Explain what it is.
Pintura, it's painting. So it's painting highlights on the curls. So that's all that it is. And that's the same as balayage. Balayage is just painting highlights in the hair. So it's the same exact thing. It's just that you're able to control the exact placement. So that's a diva thing that they came up with, the pintura. And so it's painting the curls. And so it's kind of, they trained originally cutting curl by curl. So this was like painting and highlighting the hair curl by curl. So you can specifically place the highlights into the hair. And
do you use that technique in hair coloring?
I don't use the exact pintura technique, but I do use balayaging. I do. But not always. I still foil. It all depends on the look that I'm trying to get. And again, so many times I'm working on already colored hair. So, again, that plays another factor into the coloring process of getting an even strand of color from root to end. You have a lot of times I still end up needing to use foil in order to get it to process properly. So I do a mix of things as usual. Go figure, I mix up my haircuts. I mix up my hair color depending on the look that I want, the client wants, and how I need to arrive at it. So I do a lot of what I've created as a reverse balayage. I paint in the hair and the curls almost daily when I do hair color, but in reverse, actually, with the color instead of, so more of a low lighting technique than highlighting.
That's interesting. Can you easily explain hair color levels? I hear stylists say things like, she's a level 6 brown or something. And I don't understand what the heck that means. Can you explain that?
Yes. Can I explain in 30 seconds? Yes.
No.
So the level system is a coloring system that was created from level 1 to 10. And so 1 is the darkest, 10 is the lightest, and 7 is, like right 6, 7 is right in the middle. So you start with 1 being black, and then you go up into the browns and reds and coppers and blonde and like lighter browns and then blondes and really light blondes. So typically 10 is the lightest. Now there's some, brands that go into a high lift blonde, which goes beyond there, but the standard level system is 1 to 10, 1 being the darkest, 10 being the lightest.
Okay. Let's talk about gray hair. Let's talk about coloring gray hair. Is it different or harder than coloring hair that isn't gray?
Gray hair is more of a challenge. It is more resistant to hair color many times. So it's got a lot of times a really coarse, closed cuticle. So it is definitely more of a challenge for people with hair color trying to get it covered and to accept and hold on to that hair color.
Okay. I got a lot of questions about gray hair, but I think I'm going to skip.
I actually
over
love
them a bit.
working with it though.
Do you?
Yeah, because it gives me, again, it's a natural highlight, so it gives a natural dimension in the hair. So a lot of people are, they don't really like dealing with the grays, but I do because I utilize that in my hair coloring process, and it's beautiful. So like I have a client who gets me so much business just walking around. Everyone wants her blonde hair because she's got a lot of white hair in the front, in the top, and then towards the back she gets a little darker. So it gives me all kinds of dimension just doing one process hair color.
Cool.
So yeah.
Cool. What are resistant grays, and how do I know if I have them? Are there different techniques used when coloring them?
Yes. Resistant grays they're just, like I was saying, resistant to the hair color. They don't want to take the color. A lot of times those grays, the gray hairs are really strong and coarse, and they they need moisture to soften. So they're just really hard hair, and they have like a harder cuticle to open. So that ends up being resistant to the color covering those grays. And there's different techniques that can be used, and that's one of the things that's so great about the color that we use in my salon, which is non-ammonia organic hair color. But their oil delivery system, they have an oil base. So using that oil softens it, like pre-softens the hair, and that was a little trick that's in the hair color world. When someone has resistant grays, we make a note of that. There's different things we can do, pre-soften the hair when they come in next time, and there's different techniques of doing that. But since the colors that we use in my salon have an oil base, it's already pre-softening those gray hairs. So we have a lot of we have a lot of luck with covering all the grays.
Cool. Let's do 2 more questions. Make sure you hang around because I'm going to give you the information on how to enter the Curl Crap giveaway. That's the big giveaway coming up.
We're doing that tonight.
We're going to give you the info on that tonight to enter, and we're actually going to give it away on the Halloween horror special Monday show. So
is that next week or the week after? Week
after.
When is Jessica coming on? I thought she was coming.
She'll be here on the
I'm taking her product off here.
24th.
She's not even coming on the show.
No, she is. She's in Canada. She had a procedure. So yeah, we cut her slack.
Right.
Now she's going to come on.
She's
probably going to be, we're going to have her on the Wednesday show, which we might have a Wednesday show. We might do one in the skincare group next week. We'll see what happens. But yeah, she'll be on the Wednesday show. I believe it's going to be October 24th. And then
Isn't
after that,
the Halloween?
No, it's going to be after that. But
Jessica's going to be on the Halloween horror story.
She'd probably love it.
The hair horror stories.
You have a horror story with her.
I do.
You do. We'll talk about that later. Don't give it away.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
I mean, it's gory and everything.
It is.
And it's true. I'm not kidding. It is. I saw it. I was there. Okay. We'll do a couple more, and then I'll give you that information. And I want to talk about a couple other quick things. Boy, let's go with this. What are your thoughts on highlighting curly hair? Isn't it bleach? Isn't bleach bad and damaging to curly hair? Then why would you do it if it is? Do you do it on your clients? If so, why would you? Very snippy if you saw the way it was written. Very
Oh,
snippy.
snippy, snippy,
Uh-huh.
snippy, snappy. Okay, well, yes. There's your
Okay, next
answer.
question. Next question. Do you want
So,
to talk about that in a
yes,
little
yes,
more
and yes.
detail?
I always have to elaborate. Okay, so yes, highlighting the hair is typically using bleach. So whether stylists are calling it a lightener, whatever term they're using, if again the hair is virgin hair, has no previous color on it, you can use a high lift blonde, or you can use other colors to get up to 4 levels of lift. So that means, like we just talked about in the level system, so Ken is a level, he's about a level 6, 7 ash. And so
Am I a dirty blonde?
you're a dirty blonde. You're a dishwater dirty blonde. So, but with those natural gray highlights,
they're clear.
yes.
Anyway.
So anyway, so that means you could get a lightness of up to, we'd be pushing it to get up to a 9 or a 10. So anyway, and that's how that level system works. So with a high lift blonde, you can actually do some highlighting with hair color. But then if you want to get lighter beyond that, which most people do, they want that, blonde hair, especially here in Florida for sure. You have to use a lightener or a bleach. Absolutely. That's the only way that you can get beyond, the light, usually up. Anyway, no matter what level of darkness you are, if you want to get 4 levels lighter or more, you typically end up using a lightener or a bleach. And, I always try to do it in the best possible way that it's the least damaging, that it keeps the most integrity of the hair. So there's products to use, like you hear about Olaplex and different things that you can use in order to protect and restructure the hair now. So those are things that we utilize in my salon. But if people want to be blonde, they want to be blonde. And, then you just, I always make people aware of, that this is damaging, because maybe they don't understand that. So, if it's going to be breaking down their integrity of the hair and their curls. So, because a lot of times when you see people that have curly hair and they have highlights, those, especially when they're over highlighted and super like white blonde, you'll see that those have a hard time curling anymore, because all of that moisture and protein has been stripped from the hair. So now it's more straight. And when it's wet, it probably feels more mushy. That means that it's over processed and very damaged. So anyway, but that's what we, and I try, of course, to protect my clients from getting to that point by either not, there are times that I've refused and I've said, I don't want to have my name on that. If your hair breaks off, I don't want to be responsible. So they'll find someone that can do it for sure, because somebody's going to be just desperate for the money. But I just refuse, I always want to keep the hair looking its best and the curls looking its best. So, if we highlight, we try to protect it, and then we recondition.
Yeah. Okay, let's do one more question, and then we'll do the giveaway.
See, the computer died because it was the end of the show. We're way over time.
We're a little. We have so many. I'll bet you there's 20 questions I didn't get to, and that doesn't include the silver and gray hair questions I'm skipping over. Yeah. Let's do one more. What are your thoughts on the peacock hair color trend, like Guy Tang and Rebecca Taylor do? What do you think of that on curly hair? I don't know if that's the proper name of it, but that's what it looks like to me. How hard is it to get rid of on my hair if I hate it?
Well, we kind of talked about this earlier. So me personally,
what is the peacock hair color trend that Guy Tang does?
Well, those are the fashion colors. That's what we call the fashion colors. So those are all the, pinks and purples and blues and, the rainbow colors and the unicorn colors and all the mermaid colors. Those are all fashion colors. So that means that the hair needs to be pre-lightened, most of the time in order to then deposit those colors into the hair. Those are direct dye colors. They are actually not going to last very long in the hair. So if you hate it, you're lucky. Just wash your hair a bunch and it'll come right out. On the other flip side of that is you pay a lot of money because it costs a lot to, pre-lighten and bleach and, highlight and strip the pigment from the hair in order to use those colors, and then it washes out. So, it's not something that I love to do, honestly. It is
Not your thing?
It's not really my thing. Julie does it. But yeah, it's more damaging because of the process of having to pre-lighten.
Yeah.
So would I recommend it? Not necessarily. And certain colors you don't have to lighten it as much in order to use, the certain fashion colors. The ones that are really, light, let's just say the lighter colors like the pastels and stuff you have. And depending on your starting color, so like if your hair is dark brown or black, you're going to be more limited. You're really going to have to strip your hair and, pre-lighten a lot in order to be able to see those colors in the hair. So it's damaging.
Sure.
Because once that rinses out, you have the damaged highlighted hair. So
right.
then you might end up with a big chop.
I've got a little bit of a fun fact. I believe this is true.
The show's over. I asked you to do a fun fact before.
Yeah. No, I believe this is true. That everybody credits Guy Tang for this. But if I'm not mistaken, his influence came from Mizell Aponte. He was doing this years ago, right? With the curtains, drapes, and shades, whatever thing. Was that the same kind of thing? Or is that different?
Yeah, no, that's different. No, Mizell is in a league of his own, but he came up.
Dude is like the best.
Yeah,
he's now he's with a big brand.
It gave me a headache the first time I took his class because it was just such different language that he used.
He is the deal.
But I love his concepts, the curtain drapes and.
Was it curtain shapes, drapes and blinds? Or?
Yeah, curtain. I kind of forgot now because it's been a few years.
You'd have
curtain
to
drapes and blinds. Yeah.
He's so far above everybody else when it comes
his thinking, he's very artistic, but I love it because it's minimalistic, and that's how I work too. Instead of having to put 5,000 foils in the head, how can I achieve this look with 10 foils or 20 foils? And I love that. He's just amazing.
Would you consider him to be one of the best colorists around right now?
For sure. Yeah, he's been for a long time, and just very, very artistic background. But anyway, yeah, I love his work. And I don't know. I mean,
He's with a big company now.
This was going on in the 80s though, Ken. I mean, there was, remember the punk rock era, there was fashion colors back then, people even using Kool-Aid and, different stains to put in the hair. So it's been around a long time. It's just become more advanced and more prominent. More people are doing it, and there's new products to use. So it just got an excitement behind it and became really popular.
Yeah.
But it's been around for a long time, actually.
Yeah. Here's a fun fact: I made Mizell Aponte cry.
Why is that fun?
It's not fun, but
that's not fun. That was mean. What did you do?
I did. I owed him an apology and I gave it to him, and he wasn't expecting it.
Why did you have to apologize?
I don't remember.
They apologized to me.
That's why he said something, and I didn't realize till later in the evening, laying in bed, that what he said he didn't mean to come out the way it did. And I kind of let him have it. But I went the next day. I apologized, and he cried.
Oh, because
he's like, "No, I owed you," and I'm like, "No, I owed you." But anyway, he gave me a big hug and everything's cool. We've been cool ever since. It's just funny.
Yeah, he's awesome.
It's back in the old days. Yeah, he's great guy. But I didn't expect it. Caught me totally off guard. I'm like, now what do I do? It's like
he did one of these.
He's like openly crying. No, he was tears and everything. Like, I'm like, oh no. But anyway, so yeah, there's a fun fact.
Oh.
Watch, he'll come in here and comment.
Oh my gosh, great, Ken.
Oh God. Anyway, yeah, can't take me anywhere. Anyway,
that's
okay.
For sure.
So for those of you who are watching on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, who got a little disconnected with our technical issue, you can also listen to these shows on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, and Spotify, as we are now podcasting. And you just search curly hair Q&A Mondays with Melanie, and that's how it comes up. So last but not least, we've got the big, that's our next big contest, the big Curl Crap giveaway number 2. Melanie, do you have the bag? Don't show what's in the bag, but you can show the bag. You want to show it?
Okay.
Is it by your feet?
I think you forgot to turn the air up because it's freezing in
I
here.
know. We have to. It gets hot in here for some reason.
Oh.
Can you get it? And we'll just show it to you. We're not going to show you what's in it, but let me tell you, it's loaded with curl crap. And it's a really cool bag. You get the bag too.
The curls and hearts.
Curls and hearts bag. So, is there dirt on there?
Yeah, you got it dirty. You got dirt in her hair.
It's been sitting under there for a week.
She needs a cleanser.
Well, trust me. It won't look used when you get it because it's not. I took it out of the package.
No, it's brand new. It still has a tag on it.
So
anyway, it's super cute.
Yeah,
super cute. It's got a fun figurine on here with curly hair and fancy lips and hearts. It's just it's fun. I have the same bag. I love it.
And it's filled with bottles of curl crap. So
wow, awesome.
Rhett is going to put in the comment section, he's going to put a link to where to go to enter this contest. Are you Rhett? Did you get that? He's got that link. He's going to post it in there now. Can you put it on Instagram, Rhett, or is it just going to go in the Facebook? Okay, it's just going to go on YouTube and Facebook in the Curly Girl support group where this video is. So if you want to look at it there, if you want to go to the Raw Curls YouTube channel where this is live streaming, it'll show up in there in the comment section too. I put it on Instagram, but I can't. Sorry. Same thing if you're listening to this on a podcast, do the same thing. So this is going to last until we're going to give this away, announce the winner the last Monday, which is going to be the Halloween Horror Story Show, which is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we'll give it away and announce the winner then. So that's pretty much it. You got anything else? Or we want to wrap it up?
Wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
I want to wrap up in a blanket. I'm freezing.
It's chilly in here. The air's on. So anyway, all right. Thanks a lot. We'll see you guys again next Monday. Have a great curl week.